Hey, it's Courtney with ClickItUpANotch.com, and today I'm going to answer some of your blogging questions. I actually love talking about blogging just about as much as I like talking about photography. I'm tackling blogging questions this week because this is my third year of blogging. So I kind of want to give back because I read and still do read a lot about blogging. And so I figured maybe I could help answer some of your questions. So over the past week, I've been asking you on Facebook to ask me your questions. Got some really great ones. I'm just going to go through and tackle them. So here we go. All right. I got a lot of questions about WordPress. Obviously, I can't walk you through like how to use it just because I don't have time, but maybe that's something I could do later. I do find that WordPress, for me, is easier and more user-friendly than Blogger. I was on Blogger for, I think, 4 years before I started Click It Up a Notch, which is on WordPress. So once you sign into your WordPress, on the left-hand side, there's your dashboard, and you can do like your post, and that's where you write your post, and your media is where you upload your pictures, and there's all sorts of plugins you can get, and I mean it can be really overwhelming, but just play with it. But I do recommend WordPress. So another question is, how do you get more traffic to your blog? That is the question, isn't it? Great content. I mean, I can't say that enough. If you don't have great stuff that people want to come read, people aren't going to come to your site. You want to create content that people want to share, that people want to pen, that people want to tweet, tell their friends about. For me personally, I find that something that someone can take from. So like if you're sharing knowledge, a funny story, a list. Some of my most popular posts have been list posts where I'll say, like 15 things I learned, or 8 ways to do this, or, any kind of list where there's numbers. People like that. I mean, I know I do. I like to read through those. They're easy to read. They're great to share. So another good one is if you have a lot of content on one subject, then create one post collecting them all. Like I just did a post a couple weeks ago on a series we did last year on camera lenses. I just created a page so that it's all in one place, kind of make it easier for everybody to find. And within like 3 days, it was shared 1,000 times on Pinterest. So there's definitely like the list kind of post of series and links. People like those. So that's a great way to increase your traffic. Also, yeah, okay, sorry. How far out do you plan your editorial calendar? I like to plan mine out a month in advance. So towards the end of the month or the beginning of the month, I'll go ahead and map out the rest of the month. Ideally, I would like to say that all of my content has been written, but it's not. I have 3 kids, and so I don't always get my stuff written as far in advance as I like. But I like that I know what I'm going to write about. So if I am pressed for time, and I know I have an hour to get something done, I know I can start tackling a post, and I don't have to spend 20 minutes brainstorming what I'm going to do because I already did that. So for me, a month out. I know some people do it quarterly. I just haven't gotten to that point, so I normally do a month out. When to watermark your photos. That is up to you. I watermark my images and have for a long time, mainly for branding. So if it gets shared on Pinterest or something, it's got my brand on it. I've actually had a company contact me that they found another company was using my images wrong on Pinterest, and they were able to know that because I had my site on my pictures. And 2, just so people know that they're mine. I mean, I know people will take your images and use them if they're not supposed to. I mean, it's done. I've had my, watermark cropped out of images, and that's happened before, but, you do the best you can. I know some photographers don't watermark their images, and that's fine too. They have their information in the metadata, so it's kind of just a personal decision. Sorry, I can't answer that one. Some tutorials on WordPress. A great site that I like is the Sits Girls, Sits as in S-I-T-S. And they have tons of tutorials on blogging, on, getting traffic on social media. I'm pretty sure they have some stuff on WordPress, so you might want to check them out. What is your, do you recommend using ProPhoto for blogging and posting photos? I don't have any experience with ProPhoto. I know a lot of people do and love it. So yeah, I mean, if it's something that you like and you see a template in there, then definitely. From what I understand, it's pretty user-friendly. And everyone I've talked to likes it. So, but there's also a lot of free templates out there as well, or other templates that you can modify um, to have like the bigger images if that's what you're looking for. So, just search around for themes, see if you find one that you like. What are your favorite SEO plugins? I like Yoast, Yoast. It is so user-friendly for me. Basically what it does is it helps you figure out if you are using the keyword correctly in your post. It gives you a green light if you've done everything right, a yellow light if, and a red light if it's like it's not even working. So I like that one. That one seems to work really well for me. What are your most successful types of posts, tutorials, real-life moments, contests? Like I mentioned earlier, list posts are really popular for me. If you're not a photography blogger, I know actually list posts are popular for everybody that I know. Letter type things. I wrote a letter to myself at beginning photography when I was beginning photography, and that was really popular. Things that people can connect with if you're not teaching something are good. Like tutorials, do it, DIY type stuff. Definitely have pictures. Obviously, I am a big firm believer in pictures, and bright pictures, because if it's underexposed, and I mean, it's amazing how if your pictures don't look they aren't exposed correctly, and you have a lot of clutter in your picture, and it's drawing it away from the point. I mean, people might not even stay on your site; they might just leave. So pictures actually do play a huge role. Contest, yeah, those are popular. I don't do them anymore. Giveaways obviously are popular. I'm trying to think. Kind of like any kind of post where you're answering someone's question, where if someone has a need and you're answering it, those are popular. If you find that you get asked a certain question a lot, then write a post about it. I was always surprised if I realized I get an email a lot asking the same thing from several different people. I'll write a post and people are like, oh, thanks. So, I mean, if one person's asking you, there's probably many more who are wondering the same thing. So that's something to think about too. What do you look for when... Oh, that's a photography question. Sorry, I'll answer the photography questions another time. I'm trying to stick to blogging. I need SEO help. When you name an image, what is best? When and where should I start? So I do believe that you should name every image that you put on your website. Don't let it go up as like DSC or IMG 8724 or whatever. Because when people Google things, Google does read the name on your image. And so if you are, say you're blogging about of course I can't think of anything right now. Okay. Say you're talking about like 8 ways for your child to make friends. Okay. So you post a picture of your child and their friend. You want to name your picture something that is related to that. So making friends, how to make friends, name that picture. Because that's what Google is going to find. So that is definitely important. And then we have some more up here. Okay, sorry. All right, here we go. How often should a blog post occur to keep your audience interested? I do think you need to post at least every week. I would say 2 to 3 times a week. I think the more important... not maybe more important, but definitely having a schedule. And I talked about this in the things that I think all bloggers need to know, is if your readers know when to expect that you're posting, they know when to come back to your site. That's really important because people like consistency. They like to know, okay, she's going to post on Monday, and so I can sit down on Monday and check her out. Like I know, my readers know every Monday is a critique me. So if they want to read those, they know to come by on Monday. So I think it's important to have that kind of a schedule, but I'd say like at least twice a week. Someone asked about Google AdSense. I don't have any experience with it, so I'm not quite sure. I know some bloggers have great experience with it. I just haven't tried it. Let's see. More about using WordPress. Maybe I do need to do a blog post about that. How to increase followers to your blog or Facebook. Again, that kind of goes on how to get the traffic, but okay, so like for Facebook, post every day on Facebook, even if you don't have content to post, that you're not posting a link. Also, don't just post links to your site. Ask questions. Do fill in the blanks. Get your community to participate with you and listen to them and get to know them and respond to people. That's really important, I think. If people are like asking a question on your Facebook page, answer them. I know it's hard, and sometimes I'm like weeks late doing it, but I always try. If someone asks something, or obviously I can't comment on everything, but I do my best, and I think that is good for like getting some Facebook fans. And as far as increasing followers to your blog, just having good content. I'm sorry, I wish there's a better answer, but if you have something that people want to read, they will tell their friends. I have never paid for advertising for my site. All my traffic is from word of mouth, people sharing my stuff on social media. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. So I do think that there's a huge thing to be said on just being, writing good stuff so that people want to share your site with their friends. How do you stay consistent with post? So for me, like I said, I do a schedule. I know what days of the week I post. Currently I post Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Sometimes I throw a Wednesday in there. When I first started, I only did Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then I got overwhelmed with all these ideas, so I started doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then I started being overwhelmed with the amount of content I needed to write, so I've cut back. Plus, I think it's also good not to post every day because your readers may not be able to get to your site every day, and you don't want them to be so bogged down that they are like so overwhelmed that they don't even want to catch up. So that's what I do. Where do you find groups of like-minded people? Again, the SITS girls are a fantastic community. They have a forum where you can join, and I believe it's broken down by different categories, so you can find bloggers who blog about the same type of things that you do, which is a great way to find a group of people to brainstorm ideas and stuff like that. I'm confused about where to start on how to make things legal. That is a great question. If you are going to make money from your blog, you do need to get a business license. You can start with your state. Most bloggers, from what I understand, you can be a sole proprietor, or you can do like an LLC, but there's some more paperwork and, a lot more fees with that. So I would look into it. There's not a lot of content out there. I've heard most of it from blog conferences I've gone to. But from what I understand, and don't quote me, I am not a lawyer, is that as long as you have a sole proprietor business license, and you file your taxes, and you make everything legal, then you should be okay. And so they're asking to get sponsors and affiliates. So some of the companies you work with are going to have you fill out like a W-9, and that's good. You need to be accountable for the money you make with the government and taxes. So what are some great ways to create? If I don't have enough posts to post every day, how do I set up a schedule to post? Is it once a week too far in between? No, I don't think so, but personally, like I said, I would do at least 2 to 3 times a week. If you don't have something that you want to post every week, you kind of follow it up with, if you don't have personal content to post daily and you want to add content from other sites, how do we find information that is free and okay to use? So when I first started, I did a thing called Why Didn't I Think of That Wednesday? And every Wednesday I would share a link to another blog post that I had found that I thought would be useful. And I would write up a little paragraph talking about what was in it. I didn't take the content from their site. I would read their post, I'd write up the content, and then I would contact that person ahead of time, and I would say, hey, this is my site, this is what I do every Wednesday, and I want to feature this post. Do you have an image you can send me from that post so I can use it as a teaser for my readers? And sometimes I'd say more than 50% the people would write me back and say, sure, here's a picture, thank you so much for, mentioning me. But I never took a picture without their permission, and I never took content from their site. There's definitely a way to share other people's sites and content without actually taking it. So if that's something that you want to do, Like one of my friends, Trisha at eatyourbeats.com does a Try It Tuesday. And some of those Try It Tuesdays, she links to recipes that other people have. But she just links to them and talks about them. So I think that's the key if you want to share other people's content is people love it. I love it when people share links to my site. I don't really like it if they're taking my content and putting it on their website and therefore that person does not have a need to come to my site. That's kind of, I don't like that. So hopefully that helps. But if if in doubt, just email the person and ask them. I get asked all the time stuff, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I prefer you not to do that, or sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's great, thank you so much. Depending on what exactly they want to do. I'm in the process of setting up my first blog. Not sure where to begin. She asked about Profoto, and then domain hosting. So I recommend that you buy your website name, your .com. So I own clickitupanotch.com. And I think it's easier for people to read. It makes you look more professional. If you want to make money, you just got to do it. Okay, I think it's like 10 or 15 bucks to buy your domain name. That's not expensive. What is expensive, though, is having that domain hosted. So you need to find a company that will host it. And for several years, I used Bluehost. They're fantastic. They have 24-hour, 7 days a week customer service. I called them all the time to ask them questions. They did not talk down to me. They explained things to me. Great customer service. So I would recommend them if you want. And they will help you literally set up your site. I mean, because I was trying to do something one time and they walked me through everything I needed to do. So I recommend checking them out. How do you increase followers by email? That was a great question. I do think that bloggers need newsletters. I actually wrote a post on Clickin' Moms, and I'll get the link for you, of how photographers can use newsletters to increase their business. But I think as bloggers that you need a newsletter as well. I use MailChimp. I'll put a link for that. It's free up until you have 2,000 people who are subscribed to your newsletter. And then after that, you have to pay a monthly fee. But if you're just starting out, I mean, that's a great way to stay connected with people because sometimes people will find your site and be like, oh, this is great. But maybe they don't read blogs every day. I know I personally don't have time to read blogs every day, but I sign up for newsletters. And so that way, if they send out, a weekly or monthly newsletter, I can still see what they're writing about and skim through and see if that's something that I like. Like, I send out a monthly newsletter. I recap some of the best posts from the month. I talk about some other stuff. I share pictures from you guys because you guys are so talented. And, that is always a boost in my traffic, those 1 or 2 days after I send the newsletter, because I know some of the people don't have time to come to my site every day. So by sending them the newsletter, they're able to still get my content and, read the things that they want to read and, have access to my information. And I remind them that I'm out there. There's so many blogs out there. There are so many blogs out there. I can't stress that enough. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily are going to get lost in them. So you just want to go and figure out those ways that you can, remind people, hey, I'm still here. Don't forget to check out Click It Up a Notch. I have this. It's also a great way to connect with people if you're having a giveaway, to let them know, hey, I'm doing a big giveaway. Don't forget, because social media outlets are starting to not be reliable. We all know that Facebook is starting but doesn't always show all of your posts to everyone who likes your page. But with your newsletter, those are the email addresses that people have chosen. They want to hear your information, and it gets sent to their inbox. And on that side note, real quick, if you use Gmail, you'll notice that there's a promotion tab now, so newsletters are getting sent there. So you may want to tell your readers to, and I'm going to tell you this, but if you have my newsletter and you want to get it and you have Gmail, you can drag the newsletter from the promotion tab over to the inbox tab, and a little box will pop up and say, are you sure you want this to stay in your inbox all the time? And you say yes. And then that way my newsletter or whoever's newsletter always gets delivered to your inbox. Because let's face it, you signed up for it. The odds are you actually do want the information. So, again, that is MailChimp that I use, and it's super easy friendly. They have awesome templates. But anyway, okay, so that was kind of long. It's like 20 minutes. Sorry, guys. But hopefully I answered some of your blogging questions. And I hope you have a great week. And again, this is Courtney with ClickItUpANotch.com. Thanks.